as someone who's been in podcasting, authorship, blogging for many years, I'm sure you've suffered this challenge where you ask for someone's opinion. It's either that sucks, I hate it, or it's good, great, right? Where do you find, like, how do you surround yourself with the right people to give you that constructive criticism? How can we do that?
You said it right there. You have to surround yourself with the right people to have constructive, almost non-biased opinions about something. And that's very difficult to do, but we need to find those people. There are groups online, groups in person that meet when we can meet. And these can be great opportunities. With the SwitchPod, for example, we had pockets of people in our audience that were videographers, and we reached out to them to get some insight and get some feedback. And of course, you're not going to please everybody either, but that's an important part of the progression. Understanding why people don't like something is just as important as understanding why people like something, because those objections are hopefully things you can turn around and actually either at least create a rebuttal for or know to better define your audience with. For example, we had a bunch of people with our SwitchPod, our invention, say, this thing is crap. Like, the legs don't even bend like the GorillaPod does. And we're like, well, why do you need it to bend? Oh, because we do a lot of outdoor shots. We need it to wrap around trees and the terrain is uneven. I'm like, okay, well, guess who we're not going to be marketing it to when we move forward? The people who need to do it that way. But then there were people who said, oh, this is perfect because it's quick and easy. I can just set it on my desk and I can pick it up in a moment. And we're like, okay, this is the kind of language we're going to use in our marketing. So whether it's a positive piece of feedback or a constructive piece of feedback, it's going to be very useful. And then, like you said, surrounding yourself with people is going to be really key, whether it's your own audience or I'm in fact in 2 mastermind groups with people who have been with me as I've started my business for the last 10 years now. We all know each other's businesses, our quirks, our likes, dislikes, and what makes us tick. And then I get this every week when somebody's in the hot seat. If I'm in the hot seat and I'm talking about something I'm working on, I get some very honest, brutal advice from people who actually know me and my business, who care. Because, I mean, there's going to be people around you that likely you could share things with, but they're either going to be too nice to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Right. Like, oh, yay, like you're doing great, when really it's not, because they just want to make you feel good. Or, you know, people who just don't even know what you're talking about. So when you can surround yourself with like-minded people in a mastermind or some sort of community who are also sharing the same values and have the same goals, like that kind of bias can go a long way. Because when you're inside your own business, it's like, you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. You need this feedback from outside to see it. Which is sometimes,
like you said, so hard to get that. Now, this is really interesting to me, Pat, because I've interviewed a lot of really, really top performers, really high top performers now. And this mastermind topic keeps coming up. I'm surrounding myself with a tight knit group of 10 or so people they're just kind of feeding off each other. So I want to kind of pivot that a little bit to SPI Pro and what you're building out there, community, membership. You know, a lot of people are building on Facebook groups, but that's very kind of loud. So I'm just kind of curious, in the past 30 days since launch, or by the time this airs, 60 days, what's the top thing you've learned and the biggest value that you're providing to the members of the SPI Pro community?
Yeah, I mean, as I talk about in my book, Superfans, when you can, as a creator, bring your community together, not just to talk to you or for you to talk to them, but for them to talk to each other, that's when magic happens in your brand. Because sometimes, and you probably heard this before, people come for the content or the creator, but they stay for the community, the community that's there, right? And so what we're doing with SPI Pro is building a platform outside of the noisy world of Facebook, but it's very Facebook-like in how it's used, as well as Slack in terms of how the archiving and the communication is handled. So that we're using a platform called Circle, circle.so. I'm now so much in love with this product that we, my COO, Matt, and we're both advisors to the company now, which is really cool. Like, we love it that much. But anyway, what we're trying to do there is provide a place and facilitate conversation, to facilitate encouragement, innovation with each other. And the reason that this came about was that, in fact, last year at FlynnCon, which was my event in San Diego, I had 500 entrepreneurs fly into San Diego. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen this year because of all the circumstances with the pandemic. But the best parts of FlynnCon were not the presentations. And the biggest feedback we got was, although the presentations were great, the best moments of that conference were when people found and had conversations with each other in the hallways, at dinner, just in between all the stuff that we planned, right? And we built it for that. In fact, this is why at our event we had, an hour-long presentation and then an hour-and-a-half break in between, so that people could talk, because I know in my own experience, that's when it happened. But this is an event that happens once a year. How might we be able to bring these people together in an online fashion to have these hallway-like conversations ongoing, and have it even be more organized in a way where people can find each other. And this is where Circle and SPI Pro came into play. And we actually ran a survey as we had applications filled out on why do you want to be a part of SPI Pro or a community like this? And the lowest number answer was content. Nobody wanted to come in because they wanted more content, which was really interesting, right? Because we think that our memberships have to be full of all this content and things like that, guides and whatnot. The number one thing was networking. They wanted to find other people like them. And I can't stress enough how much people want to find other people like them, because we're all weird, right? All entrepreneurs are weird. So now I'm creating a place for all of us weird people to get together. In the Lego world, there's this thing called AFOL, Adult Fans of Lego. Super weird people. I'm one of them, in fact. And there are meetings, there are conferences where AFOLs, adult fans of Lego, can come together to chat, to share the same language, to be weird with each other, and not ever be ostracized from other people who just are like, why are you doing that? Right? So this is what we're creating here. And so far, after 45, 60 days of it, it's been amazing. Some people having revolutionary changes within their business already, not because of us, but because they found other people like them.
Well, it's like you said before, surrounding yourself with the right people, getting that constructive criticism. And I've definitely found that inside the SPI Pro community. But the other thing that I really love about what you do there is these challenges, like even just the first challenge, just changing the way that you engage with people via DM and via video. Super, super powerful. It's completely transformed the way that I'm building relationships with people online. It's really, really powerful.